Hi everyone, welcome. We're over here by my VermiBag Mini, for which I've got some stats that I can share with you really quick. The system's age, how many times it's been fed, 12 days since the last check-in, the age even of the interesting pumpkin stem that's been in here for 800 plus days. The system's 774 days of age now, and the reason we're just taking a quick peek at it over here where it normally stands before I take it over to the bench, which is where I'll usually prepare film, and that's where I'm going to bring it now. But over here is where it normally rests, and I just wanted to point out this little damp spot on the floor. It almost seems like the VermiBag has released some moisture. I don't know if it's really a puddle or just a sign of dampness. I don't know. I've wondered if perhaps removing the plastic covers off this thing would allow some additional moisture to be expelled through evaporation. It's been pretty humid, so that would be a little bit limited by the humidity in the air, but perhaps it would be enough to prevent ongoing drainage that seems to be happening here. So I'm not going to change anything in regards to how I handle things up on top. I just figured if that's something I can control a little bit, perhaps just by removing the plastic covers, maybe I would give that a try. So, well, we'll see. Maybe the next time we come back in here, we'll have no more plastic covers. But for now, we're going to stick with what's here. I got a yummy feeding for these little guys. So let's get the camera set up, the system over by the bench. I'll put on a glove and we'll get to work. Something you normally don't see is the system's cover, because I just leave it open. But you can see it's just a mesh, and it allows for a good bit of airflow. So I usually just keep it off to the side, unused. But I just figured I'd check it out because it's been so long since I interacted with the cover for the system. I do my coverings down on the surface of the material using this plastic bag in this case, cut to size to perfectly cover our system all the way around. Things look pretty nice out here. I see a little bit of movement. I noticed it earlier too. I saw over here on the top. Perhaps there was something going on inside the cover that I disrupted, and that's what dropped a couple flying insects in here. You know what? Just to play it safe, I didn't have it on hand. I had to go take a couple steps over to get my pulverized Mosquito Dunks, which I've not used a whole lot lately, but in one or two instances now, I've started noticing a little bit of movement here and there. Hardly noticeable at all, actually, but I figured let's go preventative at this point just to play it safe. I'm reminded of the last check-in now. When I started excavating the feeding zone like this last time, I bumped into the, where is it on the thing, 872-day-old pumpkin stem that came with these worms from their old home, from their previous systems where they lived. And this pumpkin stem right here actually came into play much later. I've not really messed with that one too much, and these two mango seed husks have not yet opened as far as I can tell. Last time I tried forcing them open, I didn't get anywhere. It felt like it was going to take a while before that might happen, so I figured let's just skip it this time. So yeah, 872 days in service, this pumpkin stem. It's always so interesting. And in certain places it is getting definitely soft. Last time I believe it was a piece from like right here that I accidentally bumped into too hard and chipped off. So sometimes the deterioration of this object is due to my clumsiness, but I would say that's limited. For the most part, this thing's gone from being 5 times the size it is now to what it is now, which is pretty incredible to see what the system has done. I don't know if I can give full credit to the worms. Who knows what's doing that? Maybe fungi. Maybe other bin critters. Maybe worms. Who knows? Alright. So nice in here. Very nice material. Everything feels so nice and crumbly. Last time we didn't come prepared with too much bedding, but we were surprised by encountering a layer down low of almost unused, untouched leafy matter that had made its way down there low. And it was kind of surprising, actually, when we encountered it, but then that suddenly became our substitute stand-in for kind of the lack of bedding that I failed to arrive with in preparation for the feeding. Today I didn't want to make that same mistake, so I've got my completely refilled box of leaves ready to go. So leaves are going to be the bedding of choice today. Usually I don't go beyond this level here that I'm sort of starting to dig down into. At this point I'm in stuff that seems to me like almost pure castings, a little bit more dense than the stuff I've been picking through till now. And that's the stuff that I'm already treating as not needing to be interacted with, you know. So I was just curious to interact with it a little bit just to see what it's like, just in light of the moisture situation I'm seeing, you know, down at the bottom. I don't know, perhaps it would make sense to probe through, but you know, if someday in the future I wanted to do a harvest of this system, which means open up the hatch on the bottom of the system in order to allow a certain amount of the finished material to drop out the bottom, then in order for that to work successfully, you need this stuff to be kind of a solid mass, sort of forming a plug within the shape of the tapered system so that the bottom stuff can come out without the upper stuff following it all the way out, emptying itself with the help of gravity. It would just hold firm in place while you grab the lovely stuff from the very bottom, and then after you've zipped it up and closed it again, then you can sort of, you know, jostle the material around so it can settle back down into the void you've created down below. And, well, check out this assortment of stuff. You know, originally there was this stuff in this bag, but it seemed like not a lot of stuff. It's kind of lightweight, perhaps because it's mainly lettuce leaves, it seems, and some strawberry mixed in. Pretty nice little treat. There's the stem end of the lettuce. Lettuce and strawberry accompanied with some nice juicy watermelon. Nice summer treat. I've got so much watermelon in my refrigerator. And the lucky recipients of it are the wormies. Alright, let's come in here with a little bit more leafy matter, kind of make up for a skimpy application of bedding last time. And you know, now I'm reminded of the application of bedding last time, which was a little bit unusual. It was paper, a couple napkins thrown in here, and I think my expectation was really, I think I even said it out loud, was that we're probably going to come back here, the paper is going to be full of worms, enjoying it, but what we found was even better. No signs of it. It's completely broken down. Very neat. In a way, I did expect to find chunks of napkin sitting out here, untouched, when I was watching the video from last time, and now I'm reminded of that and a little bit surprised, to tell you the truth, that it all went away. So that's a good sign. I like the look of that. So I think I even commented during the last video about the consistency of the material. So nice and smooth and free-flowing and loose, while at the same time nice and damp and really comfortable for the worms. So I'm liking this a lot. And I think it is safe to assume that there's ample moisture in here to go forward with adding even more dry bedding. So what I'm going to do is provide the system with a nice top coating. A nice top layer of leafy matter at the very end, which we can borrow for a moment to scrub off the stuff off my gloves to make cleanup at the sink quicker and easier. And then we can call it a day. And you know, after I added the food, I think I got sidetracked because I had grit sitting here all set to go. And, well, we haven't covered up yet. You know, I've done it before and I'll do it now. Sometimes I'll just leave the grit for them out on the surface. Why not? I think they'll find it. I think they'll appreciate it, and I think they'll make good use of it. So, just a little twist the way I normally do things around here, which I think will work just as fine as following the typical same old routine. So, that's it for our check-in with the VermiBag Mini today. The system seems like it's doing really well, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on that little puddle. Who knows If I keep seeing moisture, I might end up removing some of this plastic coverings that are wrapping this thing, holding in the moisture, allow some of that moisture to be lost through evaporation, or maybe we'll just leave it be as is and not worry about it. All right, everyone, that's it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.